welcome back to Kakutocorner, guys. It's been a while, but we back again. Today I'm gonna talk about Top Rank in DAZN's debut on TNT with Abdullah Mason versus Albert Bell. This video I'm gonna do a little bit off the cuff. I didn't really write anything down. I'm just gonna talk about my thoughts about the card. First of all, the fight itself, the matchup. It was a little bit disappointing. Albert Bell is a worthy replacement, but the Joe Cardina fight, I think, would have been a lot more beneficial towards Abdullah Mason's resume. It was a winnable fight. Two-time former world champion, had super featherweight coming up to lightweight. I just think with a win against that kind of opponent, it would have boosted Abdullah Mason's resume by a large margin. So I was a bit disappointed with that, but like I said, Albert Bell, he's a worthy replacement. This guy's no slouch, right? The fight starting out, Abdullah Mason was really great in the first round. Starting out with a long, rangy southpaw, so he just started with the body, just not hunting for the head, just jabs to the body, 1-2s to the body, just like almost exclusively that whole round. And I think he took that first round. But to me personally, rounds 2 to 6, I think Albert kind of did a good job in neutralizing the action. I think his game plan was like just to limit the output of like landed punches by Abdullah. So rounds 2 to 6, like it seemed like really nothing was really happening. So that kind of really favors like the slick back foot boxer of Albert Bell. And but unfortunately after round 6, like I guess the pressure started to get to him. Abdullah Mason started to land a little bit more and he took over, and then it ended in a 12-round stoppage. I was really impressed by Abdullah Mason because he definitely needed to adjust, because it was apparent that Albert Bell was frustrating him in those early rounds where I thought he was taking over. But you know, he was getting good corner advice, and then he was able to sort of adjust and turn it around. Those earlier rounds, he was like, he got away from the body, but then he kind of went back to it, and it opened up the offense for him en route to the stoppage at round 12. I thought, like I said earlier, I thought Albert Bell was winning a lot of those early rounds, but apparently the judges didn't really share my sentiment. Patrick Morley gave Mason the first 3 rounds outright. Then 4, 5, and 6 he gave to Albert. And then Abdullah Mason once again took over for him. Martinez, the left judge here, he gave the first 2 rounds to Mason. He gave 4 rounds, he was a little bit more generous. He gave 4 rounds to Bell, rounds 3 to 6. And then once again, Abdullah takes over. And then Phil Rogers, first 2 rounds to Mason, 1 round in round 3 to Bell, the 4th to Mason, 5 and 6 to Bell. And then once again, Abdullah Mason takes over. So yeah, Abdullah was winning on all 4 cards going into that 12. But I think it was important for him, for his corner to tell him, hey, you need a stoppage, and he went out there and got it. So even though he would have won the fight, like numerically, like he still had that killer instinct, knowing that, hey, I need a stoppage. He went out and got it. So I was impressed, very impressed. I think personally, as far as like American boxers, Abdullah Mason's my favorite. Yeah, it was a good fight. Abdullah showed a lot of character, a lot of maturity for somebody so young. I think he's still 22, probably turned 23 at some point. Yeah, I think the future is bright for him, and I'm looking forward to his next fight. That kid is definitely appointment viewing. Like, whenever he fights, you gotta see it. The next fight we got up was Bruce Carrington, Rene Palacios. Bruce Carrington, as you know, was the WBC interim champion. I think they elevated him because I think think Stephen Fulton, it was his belt, and then he went up to fight O'Shaquie Foster. So Bruce Carrington is now full champion. This is his first title defense against a guy, Rene Palacios, who shares a common opponent with Bruce, is Suleiman Sagawa, the African fighter. And Rene Palacios kind of dominated him. And if you remember, Sagawa gave Bruce Carrington a lot of trouble, and a lot of people thought Shushu lost that fight. So this fight starts, and I gotta say, unfortunately, I don't think Shushu looked his best. I think he was dominating the fight, like the majority of the fight, pretty much. But it's just that, I don't know, I just think coming off that Carlos Castro fight, where he looked so good and getting that stoppage win to get the title, I just expected more from him. And then Rene Palacios hurt him to the body in, like, I think the 10th or 11th round. And then Shushu kind of had to grind it out, and like he did well too. I think he probably won that last round. But yeah, I don't know. I just think with Shushu Carrington, I think a lot of his success is matchup dependent. Like, you get some fights where he looks amazing, and then you want him to build off of that, and then the next fight he'll look so-so. He'll win outright. Like, there won't be any controversy about the result, but it just you want a little bit more from like a young American star. Well, young-ish. He's not that young, but he's below 30. But we'll see what's up with him, man. I don't know. If I'm gonna be honest, if I'm thinking about him versus the other champions, Divino, Espinoza, who else is there? Figueroa, and then Angelo Leo. I don't know. I think those matchups are gonna be kind of tough for him. So we'll see what Top Rank does with him. Tiger Johnson is another one, man. His last performance against Nicholas Flores, going into that fight, it looked like a little bit of a banana skin for him. Like, Flores is a guy, he's not an elite guy, but he can give you trouble. And Tiger Johnson went in there and like beat on him and like stopped him viciously. So seeing him come in here, looking for him like with Carrington, look to build on that, like show out on this big stage. And like he won, he dominated, but it's just like, man, I think he could have stepped on the gas and like really put this guy to the sword. But you know, it is what it is, man. I don't know. Tiger Johnson's another guy is just like up and down with the performances. But we'll see with him, man. Now that Top Rank's back with a partner, a distribution partner, we'll see how they match him up going forward. And this next fight I want to talk about is Scooter Derek Davis, which is I think he's a DMV guy from the DMV area, and then I think Top Rank just signed him. So they were looking to put him on a big spot to let him shine. And he kind of didn't do that either, man. Like, Carlos Ramos was like a tricky guy. When you seen them line up, like, Scooter Davis looked huge compared to him. So I was like, oh man, I think this is not really a great matchup. I don't really know anything about Carlos Ramos, but he actually like showed a lot of craft, and he gave Scooter Davis a lot of trouble. And they said on a broadcast this was his first southpaw that Scooter Davis fought, which is crazy. I think he has like 10 fights, 12 fights. That was his 12th fight, and he only just now facing a southpaw. And then he gave him a lot of trouble. I think Carlos Ramos did a lot of good with that left hand. He would like double it, triple it up sometimes, and like Scooter Davis had a hard time like getting away from it. And but at the end of the 8 rounds, you hear the decision, and then Scooter Davis gets the nod, and the crowd didn't really like it. I thought it was iffy. Yeah, it's TBD with Scooter Davis. I've seen him before. He looked great in the past, but you're gonna see, man. With 12 fights now, you gotta kind of step up the competition, and I just hope he can make those adjustments to where he can have a better performance next time. And my last final thoughts to end off here this video. So this is Top Rank's second produced card on DAZN, and my honest opinion, honestly, I was not impressed by either card. Okay, I've heard for a long time. They even said on the broadcast, Top Rank is the best. They have the best matchmaking in boxing, and that got me thinking, like, what does that mean? The best matchmaking in boxing. What does that mean? And what does that mean to who you're saying it to? So, because as me, the boxing fan, and you at home, the boxing fan, I don't think that statement really holds weight with us. Like, it doesn't mean anything to me. And like, when I explain myself, I don't think it'll mean anything to you, because my big issue with Top Rank when it was on ESPN is a lot of those cards were missable cards. Like, you can skip them. Like, you could watch the main event, maybe the co-main, but that rest of that 3 hour preliminary card, you can literally skip it, and you wouldn't really miss anything. You could just watch the highlights somewhere on YouTube, and it wasn't really appointment viewing to me. And I'm disappointed they got this new deal after being on for like almost a year, and like they're still kind of doing the same thing, where like they're either matching these guys up to get layups, like beat the hell out of somebody, or they put their big stars in these big spots and they're really not shining. So what do you mean they're the best matchmakers in the sport of boxing? Does that mean your matchmaking is just to hype up, or like get a bunch of bodies for these prospects to knock down? Or are you good matchmaking and entertainment value? Which I don't think that's true. So that just got me thinking, like, when you see this, you ask yourself that question, like, what does that mean, best matchmaking in sports? I've heard that a lot about Top Rank. On DAZN, they said it. On the commentary team, I've seen it online. People type that. I don't know, man. I've seen it written in articles. It's just, I really don't think that's true, honestly. I just think it's like, they're just it's promoter speak. Like, we know how to build stars, and then once we build them up with enough, we toss them out to the deep end and see if they can sink or swim, and then probably they'll most likely sink. But just let me know what you guys think. Like I said, tap in, we back. I'm gonna be more consistent, reviewing cards coming up. Also another thing, I'm not a fan of Zuffa boxing, like I said in my other videos, but I'm gonna tell you, for entertainment value, that last card, De Los Santos versus Rayo Valenzuela, that was good matchmaking. Like, I'm not big enough Zuffa boxing, I don't really fuck with them, granted, but I just want to keep it, I'm gonna keep it 100. Like, Valenzuela, De Los Santos, fireworks for as long as it lasted. Kane Sandoval, Brandon Lee, fireworks. Floyd Diaz, Jose Tehran, fireworks. Tony Hurst Jr. was like the best fight of the night, a knockout of a Benito. These, like, that, when I hear good matchmaking, that's what I want to see. That's what I equate that to. Like, Pro Box TV, their matchmaking, how they do. Like, I don't know, just when they say that about Top Rank, I don't really agree with that. But like I said, man, tap in, we're gonna be more consistent. I'm gonna get more videos out to you talking about boxing. So just look out for that. Thank you for hanging out with me. Peace.